Hey, I'm Eddie Russell, the Associate Master Distiller for Wild Turkey. I'm in my 31st year of making Wild Turkey bourbon. Our actual plant started in 1869. It was started by some Irish family named the Ripys, and they won the best whiskey at the World's Fair around the turn of the century. It actually did come from a wild turkey hunt. The guy that was in charge, like when you go on trips, you know, one guy's in charge of the food, one guy's in charge of the drinks, and like that. And one year he went in his warehouse and he was having this bourbon made. And when he took it, they all loved it, and all of his friends said, you know, I love this. So he went back to his warehouse, and it was the bourbon he was having made. And this was 101. It was 8 years old, which was older than most. So it was very unusual. So as the year went along, they started talking about going on the turkey hunt again next year. All of his friends wanted some of that wild turkey whiskey, they called it. I'm the third generation in our distillery, the fourth in the family. My great-grandfather worked at a different distillery, and my grandfather worked at our distillery. My dad's been there for 58 years and still working today. At Wild Turkey, we only use one recipe for our bourbon, so everything that goes in the barrel is the same at the beginning. In most distilleries, when I first started, they had one product. You know, Wild Turkey had 101, and that was it. Beam had one product. All the distilleries did. And then we started realizing, I think the first one we came out with was the rare breed. And the reason we came out with it was because people wanted to know how we like to drink our whiskey. Most of the time I drink my bourbon on the rocks. Now, rare breed I usually just drink in a snifter glass, just neat, because it's such a pure form of bourbon. But I like a little ice in there. Now, my father said, you know, like Scotch people always talked about, add a little water, it opens it up. My father never really believed that, but I like a little ice, and as it melts, I think it brings out different flavors that you can taste in your whiskey. Wild Turkey were a car, what would it be? More like a Range Rover. The big keynotes for a Wild Turkey is we use a little more rye than most people. Originally, bourbon was made by the Reverend Elijah Craig and used corn, rye, and barley malt. But at Wild Turkey, we like that spicy note that the rye gives you, so we use a little more rye than most anybody out there. That's the big thing. We don't get to add much water at the end like most people. Most people drive off at 160, bottle it at 80 after 4 or 5 years. So they double their output with water. Yeah, that is a pretty good question right there.